We're set to go. Dick Bavetta, the crew chief, will throw it up. As San Antonio tries to go up 2-0 in this best-of-7 series. And right away a start. James guarding Tony Parker to start the game. He guarded him a little bit at times in game one.
Not only did LeBron James start off on Parker, but they switched the pick and roll. Drew Gooden holding the fort down really disrupted the Spurs into a turnover.
Greg Popovich told Parker to look for a shot, to be aggressive. He had no problems beating Larry Hughes off the dribble. Again, Hughes bothered by that plantar fasciitis of the left foot. Hughes hurt it in the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 3 against Detroit. Hughes' first jumper won't go. James the rebound, right back up and in. And that's his first half field goal, which hasn't happened in the past couple of games. Didn't score his first field goal till the third quarter of game one.
Well, two things right away. Larry Hughes looked like he had some bounce in his legs. Foot feeling fine, pushes the ball, steps into a good shot, and LeBron James gets the offensive rebound. But Tony Parker on the other end.
Mike Brown said that if Parker beats us with his jump shot, so be it. But they're going to back off and not let him penetrate. Brown, the second-year head coach of the Cavaliers. Matchups the other way. Alberto starts on Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas just 1 of 8 in game one. Misses his first one tonight.
He should be able to get a better quality shot off against Alberto.
Now Hughes picks up Parker in transition. Duncan left wide open, didn't realize it. Banks it in, and a foul. Duncan with a chance for a three-point play.
And what you don't understand is how do the Cavs have a breakdown defensively where they leave Tim Duncan alone? Through the leg pass, Tony Parker taking him to the streets, and then Duncan. Defense comes late, knocks down the bank shot, and gets the contact.
The foul on LeBron James. As Duncan, so open he didn't even realize it. And it'll go to the line. Duncan, another just usual, typical great performance. Very businesslike in game one. And 5 straight points here for the Spurs.
I'd like to see Cleveland post Larry Hughes against Tony Parker.
Gooden misses. Finley the rebound. Cavaliers again, a very good defensive team. Had good stretches as Finley can't connect on the 3, and Gooden the rebound. Also, rebounding is a strength for the Cavs, but they are rebounded by 11 in game one.
Well, when you have breakdowns defensively and you allow a guy to dominate the paint area, you are going to allow second shot opportunities.
Duncan picks up his first foul as James very aggressive going to the basket.
There's a huge difference in coming off that pick and roll than all the pick and rolls in game one. He attacked the show of Alberto, went right into his body, could have drawn a foul, and then went right around him and drew a foul on Duncan. He put his head down, Mark, and he went to the rim and was not going to be denied.
After game one, LeBron James went back to the hotel and watched the game in its entirety. He watched it a second time. Said he saw some things, some adjustments. And you saw after his great 48-point game in game 5. Of course, game 6 he didn't have to score because his teammates did the job, but they need him in game 1.
And that shows me something about a young fella. He could have been enjoying his days off. He wants to be great, not settle with just being in the NBA Finals, but he wants to have answers to the Spurs defense.
He's been shooting his free throws much better in the playoffs, but this is the first 2 tonight.
What else are you going to do in San Antonio for 2 days?
Oh, no. Here come the letters. Alberto inside, banks it in. Mark, you and I want to go on record as this is one of the greatest cities we've ever been to.
Oh, I've had a blast. The Riverwalk, this is phenomenal.
You want to apologize now or later?
I just meant, you know, I don't know what I meant.
James to the basket. Bank shot won't go. Gooden goes back up and banks it in.
But see, the penetration by James, even though he missed, drew the help, which opened up the second shot for Gooden.
You can just see the difference in terms of his attacking style in the opening minutes. And he's guarding Tony Parker. Parker gets in the paint, triple team. Duncan stripped by James down low, but a reach-in foul. And let's see who it's on. If it's on James, that will be his second. Nope. Yes, it is. So 2 on James. Now he walks to the bench.
And I'm going to say right now, I'm not taking him out.
And I couldn't agree with you anymore. This is certainly a foul on the arm of Tim Duncan as he's going up. But if you're Mike Brown, why take LeBron James out of this ball game. This is game 2. You're down 1. Just tell the guy, defend a spot-up shooter, and you take away the risk of picking up a third.
How about you try and hold on while he's on the bench and see how that goes?
Because you might find yourself down double digits, and then it makes it more difficult. Plus, I'm going to trust LeBron James's intelligence to play with fouls. And I know it goes against convention, but I've always felt you don't want to foul your own players out by sitting them out. And at the end of the game, you look down at the guy, your best player's played 32, 34 minutes.
In a lot of cases, never picks up his third foul.
I tell you what, you should be coaching somewhere.
Duncan hits the free throw, and it's 9-4.
It's a lot harder when you're over there trying to make those decisions. Over here, Beckley picked up his third foul. I told you he should have taken him out.
But he quickly comes out, and Daniel Gibson in the game. Pavlovic, good drive to the basket. Pavlovic in game 1 had 13 points.
Your superstars set the tone. LeBron James comes out aggressive, looking to attack the paint area. It's contagious. Pavlovic putting the ball on the floor, not settling.
And with James out, Hughes is back on Parker. They're letting him have the jumper. This is that time, and Ilgauskas the rebound.
And what you have to do as a defense, Tony Parker makes a couple of jump shots. You don't change your strategy. You're playing the numbers, continue to make him shoot.
Finley with the steal. The veteran Michael Finley in his first NBA Finals. So many years with Dallas. He's been fired up to play in the championship round. Parker blocked behind by Gooden. A second shot, count it, and a foul.
And you look at the Spurs bench, recognize the isolation, waving everybody out of the way. Tony Parker with the blow-by. What I don't like, 4 Cavalier players around the basket. Tony Parker wanted it more than anybody else, puts it in, gets the foul, and Ginobili loves it.
Parker off to another terrific start. And the thing you have to remember about him, we talk so much about LeBron James, he's only 22. Parker's only 25 years old.
Incredible to be that good, to have accomplished so much. And there's another careless mistake by the Cavs, not able to get it in bounds because of the pressure of the Spurs.
I think it was a 5-second violation. If not, at least he stepped over the baseline. I think now Jimmy Clark's saying over the baseline, which is a violation. Second turnover for Cleveland. Dick Bavetta, the crew chief, with Jimmy Clark and Joe DeRosa.
You see the adjustment. From the foul shot, the Spurs pick up full court. Caught the Cavs by surprise.
Finley, the floater. And it's an 8-point game, 4 minutes in.
I think Mike Brown's bought enough time. Time to bring James back in this game. You're down 8. You don't want to play from double digits back.
Gooden. Ilgauskas with the tip, won't go. Ball tipped and taken by Parker. Parker spinning away to the basket, banks it in. Cavs need a timeout. Tony Parker putting on a show once again.
It's the Tony Parker Show. There's a new sheriff in town trying to contest. Too late.
Back in San Antonio, Tony Parker and Tim Duncan off to a good start. Spurs already up by 10. Those two have played together now here in San Antonio for 6 years. Well, wasn't exactly bosom buddies from day one.
I knew he was going to be a good one and all of that, but I knew he was really young, and it's just it was kind of a feeling out process where you just got to get used to people.
I knew he was a great player, but he never talked to me, during my first year.
I don't think I said 10 words to him the entire first year, not for any other reason than I don't know what to talk about with the kid. So
I think he didn't think like a little point guard from France can bring him to the championship. So I had to earn his respect.
We've grown together, and he's been an unbelievable gift to me for my career. He's been great for me.
The little point guard from France now looking for his third ring and hoping to help Duncan get his fourth. Ilgauskas inside. Tough shot and gets the roll.
good offense, getting the ball on the block, and I like the adjustment of Mike Brown, bringing Eric Snow in the ball game. Just 14 seconds in game one on Tony Parker. Let's see how that plays out.
Prior to game one, Snow the only member of the Cavs with finals experience. Parker again from outside, misfires, Gruden chips it to himself. Snow gained some as a backup with Seattle back in '96, and a big-time player with the Sixers in 2001. Pavlovic, good. Move to the glass, but can't finish and dunk on the rebound. Well, you see how they're backing off Parker.
That's great strategy. That's knowing your personnel, who you're playing against.
And people may look at that and say, hey, they're saying that Tony Parker can't make that shot. No, what they're saying is that they can't keep him in front of him. So you give him that shot.
Duncan misfires. Parker has, that's where he's elevated his game. He's now dangerous from the perimeter, not three-point range. Pass deflected by Bowen. Cavs, #1 in turnovers right now in the playoffs. Bowen for three. And Alberto, the offensive rebound. We're midway through the first.
Right now, the Cavs making too many mental mistakes. Taylor's on the offensive end, giving up second shot opportunities. You can't make mistakes, especially against the Spurs in their own building.
And again, LeBron James on the bench with 2 fouls. Finley for three. Alberto flopping as he tried to draw a foul on Gooden with no call from the officials. Gooden lines it up and knocks it down. Gooden had 14 points in game one.
And there's a difference with having a true point guard on the floor. Runs the break, looks the defense off, hits Gooden for a spot up. Good decision by Eric Snow.
I think so many coaches today pay attention to what a guy can't do as opposed to what he does very well.
Quit killing coaches. I'm tired of it. It's a player's game, and you're always killing the coach.
As long as he wasn't a coach killer when he played.
That's a different story. We'll talk about that off the air.
Meanwhile, Manu Ginobili comes in. There's Mike Brown. A little worried right now. His team trailing with LeBron James on the bench. Ginobili, another strong game one. One of the best 6 men in the NBA. Quickly misses his first shot. Hughes looks like he has a little more bounce to his step than in game one. Good block by Horry. Robert Horry, fresh off the bench, throws it back. Pavlovic lines up a three. And Brent Barry's come in. Well, both teams going to the benches early. Single coverage. And Duncan can't get it to fall. Loose ball foul on Horry. And he raises his hand. And it will return now for Cleveland.
I mean, Mike Brown, you have to be satisfied with the way that the bench guys have come in and keep the score relatively close, allowing LeBron James some time to rest and also saving him with those fouls. So it works out for the time being.
Snell to Pavlovic. Dangerous pass, somehow gets to Ilgauskas, but he can't hit. And Duncan a rebound. Ilgauskas 1 of 4 from the field. Barry for three, rushed it. They've missed 7 straight shots.
I'll tell you what, I like the way that Pavlovic is playing. He's the one guy that has the attitude of LeBron, forcing the issue.
And they call a foul on Ginobili as he bumped into Pavlovic. Pavlovic is a good scorer. He's in his 4th year. He's only 23 years old, from Serbia and Montenegro. 3rd year with Cleveland. But this is the first year he got a lot of minutes. He improved his defense. He's always been a very good offensive player, but now playing both ends of the floor.
Well, his thing to Mike Brown was, my offense is my defense, and Mike Brown didn't take too kindly to that. And so until he changed his mindset, he was going to play both ends of the floor. He saw a lot of time on the bench.
His dad was a great player in Yugoslavia, 6'9" power forward who taught his son the game. Gibson hits a three. Boobie Gibson right away knocks it down. A 7-0 run by the Cavs. And this young man's shooting is terrific. He's hit 8 of his last 9 from three-point range in the playoffs. And just like that, Cavs back within 3.
And Daniel Marshall said, we need to get the same attitude as Boobie. Are you kidding me? Boobie knocks down the 3. We'll be back.
Meanwhile, back in Cleveland, the Cavs fans, they've been having watch parties at the Quicken Loans Arena throughout the playoffs. But they have a special groundbreaking watch party tonight. It's one that's a 3D HD experience. They've got about 14,000. Apparently about 20,000 others wanted to get in and couldn't get in. And they're watching the game in 3D HD experience with the glasses. I'm told it's pretty spectacular, and they're having a good time watching their team come back. Right now, let's check in with our sideline reporters and start with Stuart Scott. Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Mike. How are you? You know, Eric Snow, the only guy with finals experience, played only 14 seconds in game one. You might think he'd be a little bitter at his coach, but he said not at all. He says a coach's job is to coach. I'm supposed to play. He said the only thing that you tell a coach is, Coach, I'll be ready whenever you put me in, and I'll play my heart out for you. And that's exactly what he's been doing with 2 quick early assists. Now for reporting the Spurs, let's go over to Michelle Tafoya.
Stu, the Spurs came into this game expecting a higher level of play from Cleveland. They saw one. Park Cavs would try to keep him out of the paint. So his 2 keys for tonight were good ball movement and good shot selection. He said our shooters have to be ready. Well, so far, 0 for 4 from three-point range, 6 of 16 from the field, Mike.
All right, Michelle. Shot clock down to 7 quickly. Ori, Francisco Elson from outside. He's got a nice touch. That's not an unusual shot from the big man from the Netherlands.
And he's one of the first guys at the arena working on that bit.
There's Gibson Parker on in. Gibson was the team's leading scorer in game one. Granted, there wasn't a lot of scoring from the Cavs. Ball poked away by Ori. Shot clock at 4. And they'll inbound with 2 left on the shot clock.
Robert Horry is very good at playing the pass into the post. He deflected 2 entry passes right there. Gooden's got to protect his passer by sealing the defender off and coming to the ball.
So the Cavs call out the play with 2 left to shoot. Gooden from way outside, blocked by Ori, and a 24-second violation.
I hate to bring up rule changes, but I'm going to. I would like to see right there them to be able to play on. They got to stop, and the ball's in the air. I'd like to be able to get the rebound and advance it and take advantage of the fast break.
There are some times where it certainly is a disadvantage to the team that just played some great defense.
I'll tell you what, that's the first rule change that I agree with from this guy.
Don't encourage him. Ball knocked out of bounds. And still San Antonio ball as Danielle Marshall will check in. Gooden will sit. Gooden felt he was fouled. James still sitting with the 2 personals.
Here's where, as a coach, you have to play fake hustle. Yeah, I know you was fouled. Good shot. You got hit. Don't worry about it. Knowing very well it was a good block shot and great defense from Robert Horry.
Pavlovich right up on Ginobili. Ginobili to the basket. Outside for Parker. Snow guarding Parker. Shot clock at 2. A 3-pointer. It's good. Manu Ginobili.
Another breakdown defensively for the Cavs. Eric Snow going underneath the screen and roll. Does not need help from Pavlovich. He leaves Ginobili wide open.
Marshall for 3. Can't get it to fall. Rebound tipped and taken by Ori. Barry to the basket. Oh, pretty feed, and Elson the finish. Spurs right back with a 7-0 run. Gibson left open. That's a 2-pointer. Can't get it to fall, and Marshall just shoved Ori out of the way. A loose ball foul on Danielle Marshall. And they're in the penalty. Let's take a look at the fantastic 4 to watch from game 1. The big 3, 67 of their 85 points for the San Antonio Spurs. And, of course, James struggled all night. Had some points near the end after the game had really been decided as Duncan gets a rest. And Ori will go to the free throw line. Ori says he wants to come back next year. There was talk of retirement early in the season. He's also hoping to win his 7th ring. He says he wants to pass Scottie Pippen, who has 6 rings. Pippen was a poster on in his room growing up of Scottie Pippen. He always loved Pippen because he was a complete player. Did so many things well. And Many think that Robert Horry is just big shot Rob with a lot of big three-pointers, but he is so much more than that.
Well, it's not fair to him just to think of him as a guy that knocks down big shots. He makes plays on both ends of the floor. As we take a look at R.C. Buford, running the show, recognizes the importance of having a guy like Robert Horry.
Of course, Buford might be the man deciding whether or not Horry returns. Under 2 minutes to go. And the Spurs up by a dozen. Another superb defensive performance to start.
Just look at Robert Horry in the middle of the defense, talking to everybody, communicating, being the anchor on the defensive end, and that gets it done.
Shot clock down to 5. Pavlovich to Ilgauskas. Stripped by Jacques Bourne. Picked up by Gibson. Floats it up. Won't go. And a rebound Horry. Doing a little bit of everything. Barry, wide open three. Bang! Straight points by the Spurs and a 15-point lead.
I really like the energy of Brent Barry coming off the bench, getting it done defensively and then making plays offensively.
Ginobili attacking, and he just lost his pivot foot, so it traveled. LeBron James continues to sit on the bench with the 2 fouls this game. Obviously just the first quarter, but starting to get away from them a bit.
It's just such a hard position to be in, down 15, to keep the trust, the belief, the confidence. I would just keep playing him. I wouldn't care if he got his 3rd foul. I wouldn't care if he got his 4th foul. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to play him. And then I'm going to see at the end of the game if he did a good job managing his fouls.
Snow finding Ilgauskas. Not able to find another offensive weapon as the ball kicked. So they'll reset the shot clock to 14.
You look out there for Cleveland. Verjao does not make perimeter shots. Snow's not a perimeter shooter. Then you have Gibson and Jones, who both are spot-up shooters. Where are you going to get a creator to make a play so it gets an easy look at the rim?
Ilgauskas gets inside, flips it up, and a foul. Nice move from Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
That's what I'm talking about, Big Z. Tell Coach Van Gundy to be quiet. Give him the ball, he makes a play. That's creative if I ever seen it. Get the ball to the big fella. Skyhook somewhere. Kareem is saying, that's how I did it.
Their first points in almost 3 minutes.
I'll tell you one thing that wasn't said. That's how I did it from Kareem. That's not how he did it. Are you kidding me?
You see Ilgauskas' numbers. You talk about a player just joyful about being in the finals. Ilgauskas in his 9th year, as we have a loose ball foul against Elson after the free throw. That's going to be 2 on Elson as Verjao was knocked to the ground, so Alberto quickly will come back in.
So many big guys just walk back, not battling for the offensive board. Verjao fighting for the missed shot, flops, but he's certainly given energy and effort on the foul shot.
He is definitely in the top 3 in flopping. Now, there was a foul there, but the drama from Verjao as the Spurs are now in the penalty.
I think his hair helps him draw those fouls. You see that hair just like going all over the place. You think he's being mugged out there. If he had my haircut, I don't think he would get as many foul calls for him.
Now, the officials discussing how many shots, because it was a 3-point play for Ilgauskas. He only had the 1 free throw after that. They're discussing on Verjao whether it's 1 shot or 2 shots. And it's going to be 1.
Well, it certainly was partly a flop from Verjao, but Elson did push him down.
You can only have a maximum of 4 points on a possession, and that's why it's the 1 shot coming after the Ilgauskas missed free throw.
It's very hard to block out on a free throw rebound and not get pushed under the rim. And that's what happened to Elson, which made him then foul Verjao.
Half-minute remaining. Ginobili, quick 3, short. And rebound, Robert Horry. Robert Horry's, in fact, already 4 rebounds off the bench.
Well, the reason this guy has 6 titles on his way to number 7 is because of spectacular play on both ends. He is a winner.
About a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. And a foul. It's going to go against Ilgauskas. That's his first. And free throws coming up. So Alberto will go to the line. This run with many of the starters on the bench. So Alberto, one of your younger players in the league. He's 32. It's just his second year. Played 12 years of professional basketball overseas. Played with Manu Ginobili on Argentina's national team. Ginobili always says he was the most well-liked teammate. One of the real mainstays. Of course, the series will shift to Cleveland on Tuesday for Game 3. Game 4 on Thursday. And with the 2-3-2 format, Game 5 also next Sunday in Cleveland, and then if necessary would return to San Antonio for 6 and 7. Snow to the basket. Alberto the rebound, and that'll do it. LeBron James, 2 quick fouls. Tim Duncan and the Spurs, a 12-0 run. The lead went to 15 at one point. And after the first quarter of Game 2, San Antonio up by 11. Second quarter set to begin for Game 2. Spurs with a 28-17 lead. Our Coors Light Freeze Camp is all about distributing the basketball.
Well, the passing of the Spurs, 18 assists in Game 1, 8 already tonight. Division, Ori. Brent Barry slashing to the hoop, recognizes, he takes the help of Varejao without putting the ball on the floor off the Elson high percentage play. And then the post-up play. Help has to come, cutting from the weak side. Duncan with the delivery, and then Tony Parker, that's between the legs, soccer baby, nutmeg, and Duncan off the glass, the bank is open.
You know nothing about soccer.
You jealous?
He knows David Beckham's in LA now, that's where he lives.
Meanwhile, LeBron James will start the second period. Foul trouble, 2 quick personals, just 2 minutes and 55 seconds into the game. Eric Snow stays in with Gibson, Ilgauskas, and Varejao. James, hop step. That's a 2-pointer, way off. And Jock Bowen tracks it down. Cavs shot just 30% from the field in that first quarter. Duncan, quick release.
I'm really trying to look at the Spurs and figure out something that they don't do extremely well. On both ends of the floor, this is as precise a basketball team that I've ever seen.
They don't chest bump very well. James on a pull-up. That one won't go. Rebound, Robert Horry. 2 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and a block already from Robert Horry.
It's important for LeBron James not to forget how he started this basketball game since he got back in. 2 jumps.
Duncan making it look easy. Lead is back to 15. Varejao on the drive. And he gets hammered. And will shoot 2. And call it against Horry. His second.
You said making it look easy. Well, it is easy. That's Tim Duncan, the best power forward to ever play the game. Little up and under shake move, and then a jump hook to the middle of the lane.
You know, you talked about soccer before. That's what Varejao played as a kid in Brazil. But he got too tall, and his dad told him, forget about soccer. Start playing some basketball. Brazil, of course, very well represented in the NBA. Barbosa this year's 6-man winner. Nene, when he's been healthy, we've seen how good he is. Araujo, of course, playing with Utah after starting with Toronto. Point game, 90 seconds into the second quarter. Single coverage on Duncan. Good defense from Ilgauskas. Varejao. Nice pass to James. Up and under and a travel. Fourth turnover for Cleveland. Make that the 5th.
In this situation, if you're Varejao, you have to be LeBron James' eyes. He does not see Bruce Bowen coming from the weak side. Had to travel to get the shot up.
That's 2 travels. ref's right there with the call. Ginobili sets for three. It's good. Largest lead of the game.
And Snow went under the screen. Ginobili's too good a shooter. You got to go over the top.
Ball poked away by Vaughn. Jacque Vaughn has given Greg Popovich some nice minutes off the bench as Parker's backup. Snow to the basket, and he draws the foul. Alberto with the personal. This game, a lot like game one, although the third quarter was the big turnaround. San Antonio dominating early. Ilgauskas will sit.
The Cavs are going to have to find a way to score against this Spurs defense.
So Snow will go to the line. Snow now in his 12th year in the league. Back in Cleveland. He was born and raised in Canton, Ohio. And he misses the first free throw. Now in his third year with the Cavaliers. A lot of people say he's going to be a coach someday. Played at Michigan State. In fact, Tom Izzo says that he has a standing offer to come back and be his assistant there. Very cerebral player as we send it over to Stu.
Mike, I was talking to Eric Snow before the game about that idea of coaching once his career is over. And he says, I'm not going to lie to you, it's very intriguing. He said, but also being in management is kind of intriguing as well. He said, but here's my entire point. Whether I'm coaching or in management, I would want people to treat me the way that I treat my coaches and my managers, just with dignity and with respect, Mike.
Always been an overachieving type of player is Ginobili. Makes it easy as well. Yeah, he's got 8 points off the bench.
I don't think he wants them to treat him the way that Ginobili is treating him right now.
The Spurs having their way. Marshall with Duncan in his face, can't get it to go. And Vaughn the rebound. Varejao on Duncan. The spin move inside and hammered. And Duncan will shoot two. We'll have a timeout. So far, here in game two, it's been all San Antonio. 2 quick fouls to LeBron James. Tim Duncan and the Spurs already with an 18-point lead. So many great finals moments from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Championships and most block shots in finals history, although the stat wasn't kept until 1973, so Bill Russell certainly would have been there. But Abdul-Jabbar, 5 titles with the Lakers and 1 with the Milwaukee Bucks.
And after seeing that montage of Kareem, I'm issuing an ABC apology for Mark Jackson to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for Ilgauskas' hook looking like Kareem's. Are you kidding me? You're better than that.
A couple of other pretty good centers in attendance. Robinson, of course, won a couple of rings. Patrick Ewing played in a couple of finals as Duncan can't get it to fall out of bounds. Cavs ball. All right, for Cleveland, you're in trouble now. You're down 19. How do you make this come back? What do you start with?
Well, to me, if you're Cleveland, it starts on the defensive end. You have to get stops, and you have to find ways to get fast break opportunities off of those stops or creating havoc on the defensive end. Then get LeBron James the basketball where he is in scoring position to either put it down once or make a play to the rim, just like that possession.
And he picks up Bruce Bowen's first foul, and James will go to the free throw line.
Like Mark said, I love what they just did. He started at the free throw line. He went to the basket. He hooked post. He could have gotten it right there if you saw him. Then he comes off a baseline screen. Bowen shot the gap over the top. Took 1 dribble into his pull-up at 12 feet.
Whoa. An air ball, much to the delight of the San Antonio crowd. It has been a rough start in his first finals. You know, you look at him, he never seems at least with his expressions, to ever lose his poise, but he's got to be a little frustrated right now.
He lost his shot. He didn't lose his poise, but he lost his shot.
Able to knock down a second entry pass strip. Larry Hughes with a help defense. Skips into James. Inside for the slam. Here's a way to get a little confidence back.
Think about it, it's two baskets, one on the offensive board, one in transition. If you're not making your jumper, you got to figure out how you score.
Finley has Gibson on him. And James stays on Parker. Parker in the paint, spinning up, under. And he took an extra step.
This is how you get it. Stops on the other end, and then off to the races. LeBron James punching it through the rim. Emphatically, Michael Finley says, I've been around a long time. Let me get out of this picture.
Goes to the rim with such force. Bowen bodies up on him. James again to the basket, draws another foul.
But you see the difference, catching the ball inside the three-point line, and then he's in attack mode. Eliminates the help because it's one-on-one. Him and Bruce Bowen, the help has to come, meet him at the rim, but too big and too strong where he goes to the line because of his aggressiveness.
That's such a great point. When you catch the ball in the elbow area, it's the most difficult area to defend because it's really hard to double team at the elbow.
James knocks down Owens, come back nicely from the air ball as we go to Michelle.
Well, Greg Popovich had told his team, LeBron's going to keep coming like we talked about, and he's going to try to get the fouls. Bruce Bowen even chimed in a huddle. He said, don't jump out so hard on LeBron because he's looking for that contact. They knew this was coming.
And again, it's 3 perfect free throws in a row after that air ball, and it's 38-24. Alberto looking for Duncan. Back to Alberto. Nice move. Beautiful give and go.
And another breakdown defensively. Why help? You have Tim Duncan on the block, away from the paint area, play one-on-one defense and force him to make a tough shot contested.
Parker backing off Larry Hughes. Good defense from Alberto. Gibson. A little ball fake and knocks down that 2.
I really like this young player. Confident, coming off the bench, ready to play when he's inserted into the basketball.
Five minutes gone by here in the second. Lead has been as big as 19 for San Antonio. And a 3-second violation.
The problem for Mike Brown is their best offense as a shooting force, spreads the floor. But down at the other end, they're weaker defensively. So how is he going to decide what to do? It probably depends on how the flow of the game is going.
James to use. That's a 3. Won't go. Ball tipped and taken by Varejao. And he got knocked to the ground.
And the hustle of Gibson keeping that ball alive, going up above the bigger Spur players and keeping it alive for Varejao.
Varejao will shoot. That's the 3rd foul on Alberto. And 6:36 remaining here in the second. Cavaliers this year 50-32. Second straight year they won 50 games. Second straight year they made the playoffs. Prior to that, they've been to the playoffs since 1998. Hadn't won a series in 13 years. Well, they got to the conference semifinals last year, and obviously they're first in the 37-year history of the franchise to get to the NBA Finals. LeBron James has been the key, and also Mike Brown, a little stability. They had 7 coaches in 6 years. Brown now, this is his 2nd year. As Bowen gets the rebound.
And their free throw shooting is absolutely killing them right now. They're giving away what should be free points. It would be under double digits as they're only 7 for 14.
They were the 2nd worst free throw shooting team during the regular season. Parker, count it, blocking foul, and 1.
A good adjustment by Tony Parker. LeBron James making him a shooter off the pick and roll, not settling for the jump shot, takes the extra dribble, gets into the paint, and his patented teardrop over Varejao, getting the contact and going to the line.
And Duncan did a great thing there because they had been going under on every pick and roll. He set the screen much lower so that LeBron James had to chase over, and that's what allowed Parker to get so deep.
Parker saying the most effective shot for a guard is the teardrop. He says young players, it's something they should work on. He has it to perfection. Mark, that was one of your big shots in your 17-year career.
I had no choice. I was slow. I couldn't blow by guys like Tony Parker, so 4 or 5 guys were always in the picture.
His humility is very admirable, don't you think?
He actually invented it.
Ilgauskas, nice little ball fake, but can't get it to fall, and Bowen the rebound. Midway through the second, the Spurs have a 17-point lead. Shot clock down to 7. Parker blows past Hughes, up and under. Oh, what a play from Tony Parker. 12 points, and the lead is back to 19. Timeout, Cavaliers. LeBron James trying to get the Cavs back in it. Early foul trouble, put him on the bench. The Cavs have no answer for Tony Parker. 27 points in game 1, already a dozen in the first half of game 2. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. 45-26, Spurs lead here in the second quarter. Time for the Cooler Talk presented by Gatorade. Tony Parker has been fabulous once again.
And in game 1, Tony Parker, 23 points in the paint, using his body, taking the contact away, finishing with the opposite hand. Excellent job. Game 2, same old song. Shield uses the rim, explosive, going away from the pick and roll to the basket, continues to dominate the paint. And again, the Tony Parker show continues.
Parker with 12 points. And the Spurs with another big lead. James has Ginobili on him. Nice quick spin move and a blocking foul. Anyway, you look, these are the leading players in the playoffs, points in the paint. Big guys, Boozer, Duncan, James. And then there's a little point guard from France. It's amazing what he's able to do at his size.
Well, Sesame Street, where one of these things is not like the other. Tony Parker has no business in that category, but here's a guy that makes a living going to the cup.
And James will go to the line. I do believe that's the first Sesame Street reference in NBA Finals history. Game 2 of the NBA Finals here in San Antonio. The Spurs with a big lead, 45-27. Game started off with LeBron James picking up 2 quick fouls. And San Antonio with great ball distribution. Already with 12 assists. Another strong game from Tony Parker. And right now dominating here in the first half. Parker 12 points, Duncan 10, and the Spurs bench also producing. Duncan banks it in. 20-point lead. James the jumper. Can't get it to fall. Ginobili taking it away from the 7-2 Ilgauskas. Ginobili to the basket. Just right now, this San Antonio team is just so locked in at both ends of the floor. Pavlovich pokes it away. Coming into tonight, they've won 7 of their last 8 playoff games. The only loss was that one loss to Utah. And after winning the final 2 games against Phoenix.
And at some point, you have to begin to compare this Spurs team with the best to ever do it. And I don't think the fair thing to do is to go individually. No, as a team, collectively, this is a tough group to beat.
Duncan, led by that man, 14 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds already for Duncan. And this one right now is a massacre. Hughes. Ori. Duncan running the floor. Alley-oop. And knocked away nicely by Gooden. I'd have got that one. 49-27. The Cleveland Cavaliers in their first ever NBA Finals are being overwhelmed right now. After losing game one on Thursday night, find themselves in this huge hole. San Antonio operating on all cylinders. Kick ball. Shot clock stays at 18.
And last game, Cleveland's defense was solid and their offense let them down. Here tonight, as we look at the Stars and how they're doing tonight, both ends of the floor is letting them down. They're playing very poorly on defense and again are struggling to put the ball in the basket on offense.
San Antonio 61% from the field. Ginobili, Bowen, and he stepped out of bounds. Crowd even cheering the baskets that don't count. Yeah, I've had plenty to cheer about. So Cleveland still 4:08 remaining in the second quarter, so such a long way to go. The Cavaliers right now with no answers.
I like this little adjustment. They're getting James again, the ball at the elbow area in better attacking position.
Pavlovic, he stepped out of bounds. Obviously, they need to widen the court. Let's go back to that last play. Here's Bowen. Nope, it didn't look like he stepped out on the sideline or the baseline.
Cleveland needed a break.
Even the officials missed shots.
And Cleveland's going to a little 2-3 zone right now to try to keep Parker out of the paint.
Ori, another rebound. What a game Robert Ori's had. 8 rebounds in 10 minutes. Ginobili hammered by Ilgauskas. Second foul on Ilgauskas. Ginobili to the line.
And I'm just amazed watching the San Antonio Spurs from top to bottom. We talked about Mike Brown having to play LeBron James in spite of having 2 fouls. Well, at the same time, Popovich had all of his guys on the bench. He had his key guys and brought in all of the substitutes. They held the fort down and really extended the lead.
Now, Greg Popovich has coached the likes of, obviously, Tim Duncan and David Robinson, but he recently said that Manu Ginobili was the toughest competitor he's ever been around, and he does more to win games than anyone he's ever been around. And for Popovich, that's as high a praise as you can get.
And if I'm Manu Ginobili, I'll put a list of the great players that Popovich has coached, starting with Duncan and Robinson and Tony Parker and the rest of the guys, and that's all I put on my resume. That he made that statement about me. That says a lot about Manu Ginobili and his commitment to win.
And then I'd ask to renegotiate if that was true.
Pavlovic gets it back on the drive. Nice move. And Bowen comes up with it. Everything going San Antonio's way. Ginobili. Shot clock at 7. Duncan lost it, but he drew the foul. They're going to call it in the act of shooting. Varejao picks up his 3rd, and we'll have another timeout.
Well, they say variety is the spice of life. Tim Duncan continuing to get it done. Mama, there goes that man off the glass over Ilgauskas. It's the Tim Duncan show. Sit down and watch, Tony Parker.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Budweiser Select. Exceptional taste, never filling. Step up to Select. Verizon Wireless. And GMC, we are professional grade.
And I had a lot lot of free time, so I assembled my list of the top power forwards to ever live. Tim Duncan, number 1, spectacular from top to bottom. Number 2, a shocker, Charles Barkley. I'm in the Eastern Conference. My entire life is Sir Charles. Number 3, Karl Malone. Got it done on both ends. Kevin Garnett. Number 4, underrated superstar. And number 5, upset over Bob Pettit, Kevin McHale. Variety on the block, a master on the offensive end. But no question about it, as Ali would say, the greatest of all time, Tim Duncan.
How can you leave off Bob Pettit? 26.5 points a game and 16 rebounds.
What do you want me to do? Did you look at my list?
I did.
Those were great players.
He's so biased to the modern day athlete. He gives no respect to the older players.
Let's focus on Duncan. It's now very difficult to argue as him being the best.
I'm not arguing that.
And he's only 31. There's still many years to come for Duncan.
Here's my case for it being said that Duncan is number 1. We interviewed Jerry Sloan, and he said Tim Duncan was number 1. Now, here's a guy that coached Karl Malone for all those years, so there's no question about it.
James to the basket, up and under, and draws the foul, count it, and 1 as Duncan picks up his second.
Nice little misdirection pick and roll. He comes off of it, gets ahead of steam, and if he gets ahead of steam and gets his shoulders square to the rim, very difficult to stop, absorb the contact, and finish the play.
James with 10 points, and after that air ball, has now hit 4 straight free throws. But overall, 8 misses from the line for the Cavaliers. They're 9 of 17. Part of the problem. Parker to the basket, floats, up, won't, yes, it goes in. It looked like it was falling off, and goes through.
And now when they put James on Parker, they're running Parker off baseline screens instead of just running pick and rolls, which gives him separation to attack the rim.
Oh, James, beautiful play, but can't finish. 2 minutes remaining in what has been a dominant first half from San Antonio. Ginobili can't hit. James rips it down. James again to the basket. Up and under. Again, can't finish. Ginobili picks it up. And a foul on Daniel Gibson. Cavs in the penalty.
Well, here comes Parker off the baseline screen. Does a good job creating some separation. No help by Drew Gooden. No help by Sasha Pavlovic. And he just walked into the lane. You've got to have the guy guarding the screener give some help. The guy off the passer give help. If you just leave a guy coming off naked off a pin down, he's going to be right at the rim.
Ginobili now with 11 points as Nelson will return. Duncan sits down. And you see the big 3 once again. Have been superb. Although Ginobili, he likes this time when Duncan goes down. He gets to be the man for a few minutes. Enjoys that very much.
You're a great scorer. You like the idea of Tim Duncan exiting the ball game, and now the offense has to be ran through you. So Ginobili gets plenty of touches, whether it be isos or pick and roll.
Gibson blocked by Horry. 3rd block of the first half for Robert Horry.
I tell you what, I have not seen Robert Horry play better than this. Great player, certainly phenomenal as far as the championship is concerned, championship player, but he has been stellar this first half.
3 blocks, 9 rebounds, and also a couple of assists and 2 points. Always has been an underrated defender. Marshall, Pavlovic, Gibson, quick shot, won't go.
Beautiful rotation by San Antonio to cover the 3-point line.
And Parker brings it back out as we approach the 1-minute mark. Parker in the paint. Bowen pulls up. Ball nearly tipped in, and Elson gives him a new 24. A 26-point lead for San Antonio. Bowen for three. Ball tipped, and another 24. By the way, the largest halftime deficit in NBA Finals history, as Parker puts it in, is 30. That was back in 1985, the Memorial Day Massacre with the Celtics and the Lakers. And the Spurs right now are up by 28 here in the final minute of the first half.
And that's why I love Tony Parker. Has a chip on his shoulder. Says, you're going to dare me to be a jump shot? Well, a step-back jumper in the face of Gibson.
Defensive 3 seconds called against San Antonio. So a one-shot technical. Finally, a defensive mistake. And Gibson hits the free throw with 19.2 remaining.
San Antonio's basketball IQ is higher than any other teams in the league. And you've got guys like Robert Horry who've lost some athleticism. They make up for it because they're intelligent basketball players.
James looking. Spinning inside, lost it, got it back, and a good follow. Final seconds here in the first half. Horry for three. Won't go. Horry very upset. He thought a foul should have been called. Jim Clark shows good restraint by not teeing him up, as Horry was very upset. Let's take a look at the play. The Spurs certainly with nothing to be angry about.
And that's not a foul. That's not a foul. That's Robert Horry creating that contact. LeBron James, hand extended, contesting the shot. That's just solid defense right there.
Meanwhile, Tony Parker, a spectacular first half once again. He's with Michelle.
A 25-point halftime lead. Can you describe what it's like to play in a game where nothing seems to be going wrong and everything's going your way?
Well, we're playing very well right now. And sometimes it's dangerous because it's still an NBA team who's playing, and second half is going to be long for us. We need to play with the same intensity, same energy, and try to keep our lead, but it's going to be tough to keep a 25-point lead.
Yeah, it is. And what do you expect going into this locker room that Greg Popovich, the guy who's the perfectionist, is going to say to you all?
Well, he's going to be like crazy. He's going to say we have to be perfect, but sometimes it's tough because the other team over there, they got a lot of crowd, and so it's going to be a tough second half.
Thanks for stopping. Bye.
All right, Michelle, the understatement of the playoffs. We're playing well right now. As our T-Mobile halftime report coming up, Tony Parker looking for a couple of rings this summer. One, of course, with the Spurs and another with Eva. Plus first half stats and analysis all coming up after these messages. Even perfectionist Greg Popovich has to be thrilled with his team's first half performance here in game 2 of the finals. 58-33. The Spurs just magnificent. Hello again, everyone. San Antonio putting on a clinic, really impressing Cavaliers here in the first half. Defensively, you didn't think you could play much better than they did game 1. They did even better in the first half of game 2. That's on the offensive end. Meanwhile, Tony Parker just sensational once again.
Well, is there an answer for Tony Parker? 7 of 11 from the field once again, dominating the paint area, getting anywhere he wants, but it's still on the offensive end, and he is the guy that sets the tone, exploding to the hoop, using the basket as a shield, recognition, eliminating the shot blocker. Fast break basketball, he's a one-on-one fast break machine. And then pick and roll, the extra dribble, before the help comes. Tony Parker, 16 points in the first half, continues to be special.
And only 1 turnover in the first half. Meanwhile, for the Cavs, down by as many as 28, never in it right from the get-go as San Antonio dominated. And Eric Snow, the one veteran who has finals experience, with a strong bunch of words for his teammates during the final timeout of that first half.
Look at that clock. You got to feel embarrassed. But the one thing about it is we got to, no, listen, it's all about they are outworking us. If you don't think so, you kid yourself. That's number one. If we outwork them, we play harder, we'll cut the lead just by that. then we got to play better. Everybody knew it. Stick to the game plan. Do what we're supposed to do.
So good words from Eric Snow. As a coach, you have to love your player stepping up like that. As a coach, though, what do you do in this instance?
Well, what Eric Snow said was true. First things first. You've got to play hard first. They're being out-rebounded by 11, Mike. That's unacceptable. They're getting beat to loose balls. That, too, is unacceptable. If you start making a great effort, then your game will follow and you'll start to play better. But the first thing has to be you've got to outwork the other team.
Let's check in now with Stuart Scott.
Mike, thanks a lot. Eric Snow still being a coach in the locker room. He said at halftime some of the guys were down, but he told them, guys, look, we can go home down 0-2. We can even get our rear end kicked and be down 0-2 if it means just missing shots. But if we get our rear end kicked and we go down 0-2 without any passion, that's the problem. And that, he said, was a problem in the first half. Now for reporting the Spurs, let's go over to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Stu, Greg Popovich told me coming out of the locker room, he reminded his team what they are playing for. He said this is not a regular season game where you come out happy to be up going into the third quarter. He said we're playing for something much bigger than that. I asked him how his team responded, and he said, we'll see right now. Mike?
Well, Michelle, even Manu Ginobili talking about game 2 yesterday, he said that we need to be the more desperate team. Last thing we want to do is go to Cleveland 1-1. They have come out like the more desperate team. Gooden knocks it down. And right now, as you said, Jeff, for Cleveland, it's all about effort, starting the half with effort.
Yeah, it's all about your intensity, your will to continue to compete and believe. Don't break the game plan. Be disciplined to what you're supposed to do and just try to work your way back into the game.
The Spurs look like they broke the spirit of the Cavs in that first half. Finley can't connect. And Duncan tips it, but right to Pavlovich. Now in game 1, it was the same type of scenario. Huge lead early, especially third quarter. Spurs went up by as many as 18. Cavs made a run, but you never broke the threat. But at least they competed in the fourth quarter. Duncan pass deflected. Now you're starting to see some deflections.
And that's where it has to start. Defensively, you have to have energy. You play with passion. You try to create some havoc and then get it going offensively. Continue to be in attack mode, but it starts with getting stops.
The Cavaliers have been a resilient team all season. They've done it in the playoffs as well. Certainly no better example than the Eastern Conference Finals. They lost the first 2 games to Detroit on the road, then won 4 in a row. Bowen, that's a 3. Puts it in.
You just look at the way they pick you apart. Excellent use of ball faking, getting rid of the basketball, and it winds up with a high percentage shot, uncontested.
Chasing James again, far from the hoop. James, nice feed, Ilgauskas. And LeBron James with his first assist.
Well, a good read. You take the double team, you take the triple team, and you find the open guy. LeBron James finding Ilgauskas underneath for uncontested dunk.
Parker shooting so well in the first half. This is that. Good rebound from James. Larry Hughes 0 for 4 from the field in the first half. Obviously still bothered by that plantar fasciitis. So Ilgauskas can't connect. Good offensive rebound and fouled in the process. Michael Finley picks up his first. This has been the problem quarter for the Cavaliers. In their last 3 losses, including game 1 to the Spurs, it's been a quarter for some reason they've struggled.
Well, coming out to start this quarter, I had a feeling they're going to outscore the pass because of the intensity that LeBron James is putting the ball down and making plays for other guys.
Pavlovich nails a 3. So Sasha Pavlovich able to knock it down at 61-40. Also, I mean, it's just human nature. The Spurs, as much as Greg Popovich wants to talk about, you lose your edge when you're up by such a large margin.
Well, teams in this league have a history of coming back into the ball game, so you expect the Cavs to make a run. But the Spurs do not make mistakes.
Tim Duncan from a little further out than he normally takes that shot. He has just been magnificent again. Hughes trying to draw a foul. Can't get it to go. Rebound Pavlovic, and he's fouled. The Spurs mistimed their jump. Pavlovic a bit shaken up. Ginobili's going to come in. Let's send it over to Stu Scott.
Mike, at halftime, Mike Brown told his team, look, guys, we're not getting a whole lot of calls, but we can't worry about their length, meaning blocking shots. He said, if you want to attack those guys, attack their chest. Take it right to them, and we'll have some success doing that. Mike?
I don't want to get to the free throw line, although the problem has been they've been horrible from the line, 10 for 19.
Well, I'd like to know, Mike Brown, if the case was saying that they're not getting calls. They went to the line 18 times. You're getting calls. You're not getting it done with the energy and passion that it takes to win in the final.
2 more missed free throws. Yeah, those are killer when you're trying to get back in a game. Pavlovic normally a good free throw shooter, 79% during the regular season. Duncan. Dribble it off his foot with a nice pass to Parker. Even on a broken play, they get 2 points.
Sometimes the other team is just better than you. Sometimes there are no answers for the questions that another team poses to you. And I think that's the case here with San Antonio. They're just too good right now.
It's been the case through the first 6+ quarters of this series. Ilgauskas tried to draw the foul instead of going up hard. And Tim Duncan is called for his 3rd foul. Ilgauskas could have gone up strong as Duncan's surprised at the call. He wants to look at the replay. Duncan's always surprised at the call. Hard to tell there. Didn't look like there was much contact. But again, Ilgauskas, instead of going strong.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want your 7'3" center double clutching with the left-handed scoop shot. You want him to take it to the rim and dunk that.
Brutus Ilgauskas knocks down the first as Robert Horry comes back in the game. Ilgauskas early in his career had 5-foot operations, 3 on his right foot, 2 on his left. They rebuilt his left foot to the point where it's now a full size bigger than the right one. He had high-risk surgery, missed the whole season, missed games by so many in his first couple of years in the league, but he's been healthy. He's made a couple of all-star teams. He's shown real resiliency. Parker inside, can't finish. And the ball knocked out of bounds.
If your foot is 1 size bigger, you have to buy 2 pair of shoes.
I think he can afford it. But after so many surgeries, that's just the way it happened. He missed his entire rookie season.
I tell you what, though, I give him a lot of credit because here's a guy that signed a max deal and he could have, called it a career. But he gutted it out, got healthy, and he's here because of his persistence.
Pavlovic trying to get free. And a whistle. A double dribble. Jimmy Clark says it was a late whistle. Mike Brown saying, wait a minute, it was hit. Brown, the former Spurs assistant, the official's not going to discuss it. Jimmy Clark on the left, Joe DeRosa with his back to us. And, of course, the veteran Dick Pavetta. I think they're going to change the call. Yep, that's good teamwork. Pavetta came in and said, obviously, the ball was deflected. Let's see if it was. That came before, so it was hard to tell on that view.
I like the way they got together as a 3-man crew and paid attention to each other. Sometimes Jeff ignores me without 3-man crew, and I don't like that. You can learn a lesson, Coach.
Wow.
Nice pass inside to Gooden. And Gooden able to finish. Cavs trying to get back in. Within 21, and Greg Popovich calls a timeout. Not trying to let Cleveland get any hope of getting back in the game. They've dominated the entire way thus far.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Pizza Hut. Want more taste? Get it from America's favorite pizza. Cisco, welcome to the Human Network. Gatorade Thirst Quencher, it's in the NBA. Is it in you? And the all-new Toyota Tundra, the truck that's changing it all.
Time for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. More great passing from the San Antonio Spurs.
Pay attention, kids. It starts with the double team. 2 guys on you. Get rid of the basketball. You've done your job. Contagious. The willing passer and Duncan gets rid of the ball. If you hold on to it, you will be exposed. Unselfish play right away without a dribble. Finds the shooter in the spot in the corner. Excellent execution on the offensive end.
And that finish with Bruce Bowen knocking down a 3. Bowen, by the way, yesterday became a dad for the 2nd time. Congratulations to Bruce and his wife. Had a baby boy. Ginobili's pass ahead to Duncan. The foul call on Ilgauskas. And that's number 3. Duncan leading the way with assists. By the way, Duncan is 1 shy of the NBA playoff record for most playoff games where you lead the team in scoring, rebound, and assists in the same game. Larry Bird has 21. That's the record. Duncan with 20. Ginobili. Parker puts it up. Puts it in. (20) for Parker on 9 of 15 from the field. Ball deflected. Here comes Parker again. Goes right at James. Knocked away, but a foul. I believe they're going to call it on Larry Hughes. That's his first.
How many little guys we see in transition? First of all, active hands, and then Bowen gives him the basketball. He is going one-on-one against LeBron James. Takes it to the body, gets the contact, willing to take the hit, sacrifice his body, and go into the line. Tough little guy.
So Parker, right now the game's leading scorer, and his team up by 23. Reminder, you can see every game of the finals right here on ABC. 8:30 Eastern, we start our coverage. Tip-off shortly after 9. Game 3 and 4, Tuesday and Thursday in Cleveland. And Game 5 in Cleveland as well with the 2-3-2 format. And then 6 and 7 at San Antonio. We've got a long way to go before we think of 6 and 7, the way the Spurs are dominating. But the Cavaliers are a much different team on their home floor. They have been terrific back in Cleveland. But still a lot of time to go in this one. As Gooden knocks down a shot. And it's 68-46. Once again, the big 3 have been marvelous. Pavlovic with a block. 3rd team foul. Pavlovic, 2nd highest winning percentage in playoff history, behind Phil Jackson.
He's a Hall of Fame coach. If he stopped today, he is a Hall of Fame coach.
He might not stop until number 21 decides that's enough. Or he fakes the 3. Pass back out. Parker, a rare 3-pointer, knocks it down. Even 3-pointers now from Tony Parker. And the lead balloons back to 25. Pavlovic answers back with a 3. Parker, meanwhile, the last 8 points for San Antonio. We're watching a very good player become a star player in Tony Parker. Ginobili knocks it down. Almost stolen by Ginobili. You know, there's that slogan for LeBron James, we were all witnesses. Well, right now what we're witnessing is a great San Antonio team just putting on a clinic.
I think they should charge the other teams in the league to watch them play. This is an absolute clinic on how to get it done on both ends of the basketball floor. It's refreshing to watch, and there's a reason why this team continues to amaze.
Pavlovic misses the dunk. Here comes Ginobili. Inside to Duncan. 76-49. The Spurs blowing out the Cavaliers here in Game 2. A good old-fashioned blowout at the AT&T Center in Game 2 of the Finals. 76-49, Spurs dominating. Great team performance from San Antonio. Greg Popovich talking about that right before he sent them out to start the game.
Communication's big tonight. Talk to each other a lot so you know what's going on. 1, 2, 3.
And we've seen that communication all game long, Jeff.
Well, just last year, Greg Popovich was criticized as having a team that wasn't athletic enough when they lost to Dallas. He resisted the temptation to turn over his team. He stuck with this group, and now this year, clearly the best team in the league because they value here in San Antonio skill, high basketball IQ, and character. And Greg Popovich has been rewarded with a very successful formula year after year into what is now a dynasty.
James gets inside and lays it in. They'll still have to wait for them to win the title before perhaps we start using some of those words.
But it's so underrated talking on the basketball floor. You make a mistake, communicate with a guy, tell who's going where the help's coming from. They discuss these things, so therefore they minimize the errors.
Bowen misses a three. And Varejao the rebound.
And you can't talk on the floor unless you know what you're talking about. That's where the low basketball IQ teams can't communicate because they don't know what to say and when to say it.
But this is a team for Popovich that wasn't playing the way he wanted them to. Is good and knocks it in and draws the foul. Earlier in the season, he felt it was one of his poorest defensive teams in the first half of the season. In fact, he was saying he wondered maybe he'd been around too long. Are they still listening to me? Are they still buying it? And then they had that usual second half of the season after the trading deadline, after the All-Star break, where they blew opponents away, especially with the defense. And that defense has carried into the playoffs. Look at what they've done to these teams in the playoffs, what they averaged in the regular season. As Gooden will go to the line and knocks it down. And then in the playoffs, each team well below what they did in the regular season.
And the reason why that's amazing is because they have two of the best all-time one-on-one defenders in Duncan and Bowen. Everybody else buys into the idea of getting it done team-wise.
Ginobili has it poked away. Pavlovich picks it up. Inside, Pavlovich, good strong finish. And that just cuts it to 21. Now there's still 16 minutes left in this game, as Cleveland's gone on a 7-0 run.
If you're the Cavs right now, you're thinking get stops, cut this down to 10 points, and then find a way to gut a victory out. But the game has plenty of time left.
Bowen misses, and the lead is 20. Duncan inside. 21 for Duncan.
And Eric Snow was furious at Varejao for not taking a hard foul right there. And I don't blame him. You cannot let a guy just go in there and dunk it. Make him earn it at the strike.
And the Cavs have been a terrific defensive team. Backdoor deflected, last touch by Ginobili. Do you think their frustrations on the offensive end are leaving them a little short at the other end?
Well, here we see Duncan as he faces up and he kicks it out and he's going to skip it and then end up dunking. But what I think you're talking about, Mike, may be true, but in the East, you don't face a team like this in the playoff series. This team, this is not Detroit. This is the San Antonio Spurs.
And a whistle from Jimmy Clark. A foul against the Cavaliers. It's going to go against James, and that's his third. James, in 24 minutes, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He just has not been able to get it going.
Well, here you see him going one-on-one, delivering a little bit of a blow to Bruce Bowen to get some space.
I thought he was congratulating him for the baby.
Ginobili draws the foul. For James right now, is it more of what the Spurs defense is doing, or can he do more?
I think it's a combination of the Spurs defense saying someone else has to beat us. So they're double teaming him, they're triple teaming him, they're zoning the areas. But as a superstar, you have to force the issue sometimes. You have to turn the ball over trying to do too much, but there's a fine line, and I think LeBron James can't settle offensively.
Want to hear what the coaches and players have to say about tonight's game? Log on to NBA.com immediately following for the live press conferences and video highlights of Game 2 exclusively on NBA.com.
Has there ever been a bigger disparity between the two conferences than there is this year, between the West and the East? I firmly believe that 4 or 5 teams from the West could beat Cleveland in a series. I just think the West is that good right now.
Well, San Antonio wasn't even the #1 seed. Phoenix and Dallas had better regular season records. Ginobili picks up the loose ball. Here comes Ginobili inside and draws the foul on Gooden.
My problem is, as a parent, I watch my kids play and they may get into a playoffs or championship as we watch the loose ball and great defense by the Spurs. Ginobili going coast to coast, taking the contact and drawing the foul. Sometimes you say to your kid, hey, you can win that game. If I'm a parent of the Cleveland Cavaliers knowing that they're in the finals against the Spurs, I'm not lying. Son, you made it this far. Job well done, but these guys are good.
All right, now, you never got the impression.
He's already got the white flag out. Oh, my.
Let's wait till we get to Cleveland.
You got a shot, but I'm just going to say, hey, these guys are pretty good.
They are that, aren't they?
How many times have you made your kids cry with that brutal honesty?
I haven't yet, but I'm learning that. It's going to be a point that I'm going to have to. The good news, though, if you're the Cavs, is there's no place like home. When you get home, the energy, the crowd is going to be into it, the role players.
How about Ori? His 4th block of the game. Even other shot blockers admire that one. He has been possessed tonight.
You watching Robert Horry says the Drew Gooden, not on my watch. Get it out of here.
9 rebounds and 4 block shots for Robert Horry.
During the 2 days off, did he fly to Lord's and drink from the Fountain of Youth or what?
Gibson looking for James. There's the double. Varejao drives. And a hard foul as Varejao goes down. Horry raises his hand as he picks up the personal. His 3rd. You can just look at the body language in the eyes of the Cavaliers. They're just overwhelmed right now.
They're going to have to turn it around quick. There's 1 day off, and you've got to be ready to play. And I think the first step is I'm playing LeBron James 48 minutes. You are not coming out until you foul out, we blow them out, or we lose. That's it.
Varejao knocks it down. Last 2 finals, both started 2-0 with the home teams. And, of course, Miami came back and won 4 in a row last year. Previous year it was the Spurs and the Pistons that won 7 games. Will be a different Cavs team. They are a different team in Cleveland. There's no doubt about it. But there's no question also their confidence might be a little shaken by how dominant this has been.
Well, they're going to be a different basketball team, but the thing is you have to watch the Spurs. It does not matter where they play. They're very good on the road also.
Parker, the teardrop. Tony Parker has been absolutely extraordinary.
It's just not fair. He's a multi-millionaire, he's an all-star point guard, and he's marrying Even Longoria. He should only get 2 of those 3.
Marshall to the basket, won't go. Gets it back again, stripped but fouled.
I'm saying he's got to pick. He's got to give up one thing, Mark.
He has been brilliant once again. And there our obligatory Even Longoria shot. Isn't that Terrence Howard?
That is Terrence Howard. And this is hustle and flow we're watching also.
Marshall with the free throw. They can afford to smile. Those two, what a combination they have become. .84-60. Jacque Vaughn will get some minutes. Ginobili trying to draw a foul. Horry will try a 3. It's good. Big shot. Rob desperately wants that 7th ring.
And you look, there's no drop-off. Guys come in off the bench, they're expected to play the same exact way. Unselfish and good shots.
James turns it over. Ginobili draws the foul. And he'll shoot. Well, the bench has been exceptional for the San Antonio Spurs. And again, right now, the Cavs' spirit is broken. But how about Robert Horry at 36 years old? The performance he's put in. You know, they always talk about it on the way he's played in the playoffs. He always says one of the keys to his success in the postseason, he's going to get some ovation here. He says he limits contact with family and friends during the playoffs. That's a big aid to him.
I don't think that works. It worked for Robert.
Your family wants to limit contact during the offseason when you play. Largest lead of the game, a 29-point advantage. And LeBron James really struggling once again. They have made him look very ordinary. Air ball. Ginobili for 3. As we wind down the 3rd quarter.
And I like Greg Popovich keeping Bowen in there on James to make it tough as James crosses over right to left, just so he gets no great flow going into game 3. Keep the clamps on it.
Shot clock turned off. Ginobili looks up, pulls back, short, and that will end the 3rd period. The Spurs hammering the Cavaliers as they get another standing ovation. This presentation of the NBA Finals continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Our blimp provided by Goodyear. As we get set to start the 4th, the key number 8962, but our Verizon StatTrack pretty much pick any statistic and you'll see in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. They've outshot them by a wide margin from 3-point range as well. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, San Antonio is. And of course, they've been so unselfish. Parker and Duncan might get a long rest here in the 4th quarter. LeBron James struggling once again.
And you look at the Cavs with 11 assists. What a bigger number, 9 turnovers. They have to take care of the basketball and they have to defend this Spurs team.
And Mike Brown's just searching for a rotation right now. And it really, as a coach, it's really difficult this late in the year to have to change the rotation. But I'm sure he's going to think about everything because right now they're not even competitive.
Shot gone. Varejao the rebound. Up by 27, they're still trying to wrestle away the rebounds. They have not given the Cavaliers any thought of coming back. James lost it out of bounds once again. He had 6 turnovers in game 1. He's got 5 turnovers in game 2.
And I think Jeff made a great point. Bruce Bowen's still in the ball game. He's not going to leave until LeBron leaves. You want to keep contact on him and make him work and not establish a rhythm.
Nelson lost it. 3-on-2, there's Bowen in pursuit. And Varejao, players' bodies falling all over the place. And it's going to be Cleveland ball.
Jacque Vaughn might have just did the worst acting job I've ever seen of trying to pick up an offensive foul. Did not even get hit and fell before the contact was even there. That was Denzel Washington somewhere shaking his head.
Terrence Howard perhaps in the building.
This is just, no contact. And he fought. You're better than that, John Paul. Come on.
Gibson lost it, gets it back, and banks it in. Good tough shot from Gibson. Cavs did talk about their fourth quarter after being beaten pretty handily in game one and how they came back and competed in the fourth. They'll certainly try and do that here tonight. Give them something positive to latch onto for game three. Alberto.
But that's fool's gold, the last game's fourth quarter. Means zero. Coming ready to play when the game's on the line.
Marshall, Jones, Damon Jones for three, knocks it down. Jones first points. Bowen on a pull-up. Does not get the roll. Coming up on 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth. It has been all San Antonio, if you're just tuning in. Jones left open again and knocks down another. And Greg Popovich quickly sees a 29-point lead cut to 19. So an 8-0 run to start. Cleveland trying to get something going to give them some confidence.
Back in San Antonio where the Spurs lead by 19, and one of the fixtures on this San Antonio Spurs team, believe it or not, is their head athletic trainer, Will Sevening. He's been here for all of their championships thus far, and Will's younger brother, 30-year-old Greg Sevening, is an Air Force captain who I've been corresponding with over in Iraq the last few days, and he told me he's watching the game in Baghdad right now with a bunch of Spurs fans at the U.S. Embassy, and he wrote to me, "It is that touch of home that I get while watching the Spurs that takes my mind off the stresses that come with deployment. It reminds me of watching games with my family and my 3-year-old son Grant, who's running around in a Spurs jersey pretending he's Ginobili." And Sevening told me that he's probably only going to have 2 hours of sleep before the game started at 5 a.m. Baghdad time, but he said, "That's good luck. They never lose when I've only had 2 hours sleep." Mike?
All right, Michelle. A big bit of gratitude to Captain Greg and all the soldiers as LeBron James knocks it in. Will Sevening has such a high reputation amongst athletic trainers, as Michelle said, in his 9th year. Such a family man. He's got 4 kids of his own. And rooting hard for his brother.
Oh, he's a great, great guy. He's assistant trainer for the Indiana Pacers when I spent plenty of years there. He's a class act.
91-72, Duncan back in the game. Duncan and Bowen the only starters. Danielle Marshall, Jones, gets inside and can't connect.
Good job by Tim Duncan, forcing Damon Jones off the three-point shot. Forcing him to put the ball on the floor and make a contested jump.
Barry already has hit a 3, not that time. Elson tips it out, and a new 24. Barry, another 3. James steps back. He'll try a 3-pointer. He hit a couple at the end of game 1, not that time. James now 8 for 19 from the field. (91-74). The crowd's gotten a little tired from all their standing ovations.
They're clackered out.
Barry. Bowen off the dribble. Duncan another rebound and can't get it to fall. And Bowen another rebound. Barry try again. Elson the rebound, backs it in. A superb performance from the San Antonio Spurs. 19-point advantage, 7:24 remaining.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Fantastic Four, rated PG, on June 15th. Discover the secret of the surfer. Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. And Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio.
Just under 7.5 remaining. Fourth quarter in game 2 of the finals. Spurs leading by 19. Let's take another look at tonight's Fantastic Four to watch. And 3 of the 4 have been brilliant once again as Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. Sensational performances. LeBron James struggling, playing a little better than game 1, but it has been a rough go for James and the Cavaliers.
Going into game 3, they've got to take one of the 3 Spurs out of the equation. You can't let all 3 play well on a given night.
Marshall, that's a 3. Danielle Marshall from downtown. And this is the closest they've been in the second half. A 16-point deficit.
And I like what Mike Brown is doing. Surround LeBron James with shooters. Gibson, Marshall, and Damon Jones, flat-out shooters, cannot be left alone. And when you leave them alone, they hide the knockdown shot.
Varejao on Duncan. Back shot won't go. And here come the Cavs. Trying to make a little run. Gibson fires away, puts it in. And it's a 14-point game. This is the closest they've been since the first quarter.
The important thing, we look at them scoring on the offensive end, but they've been shutting down the Spurs in this fourth quarter defensively.
Duncan gets position, misses the shot. Varejao the rebound. Gibson looking. Varejao flips it up and in. And all of a sudden, it's 12 as we approach the midway point. This is as unlikely a comeback. And there was just no signs of it. Duncan again, taking his time. Shot clock down to 7. Parker. Stripped and stolen by Gibson. He had 4 steals in game 1. Gibson to the basket. Tried to draw the foul. Count it and 1. James puts it in, and the lead is cut to 10 with 5:34 remaining.
I really like this kid, Gibson. Gets it done on the defensive end. The deflection crosses over Tony Parker to eliminate him. Fast break basketball, trying to attack. Brent Barry does not get the contact, but LeBron James gets the offensive board, knocks the hoop down, and goes to the line for the possible 3-point play.
A 21-4 fourth quarter for Cleveland as we go to Stu Scott.
Mike, this might be the reason for their fourth quarter. At the end of the third quarter, after the timeout, LeBron called all of his teammates around. He said, guys, come here, listen to me. And they all looked at him, and he said, guys, this is a long series, all right? Do not lose your composure. We got to stick together. This is a long series. Let's just go out and play this fourth quarter. And, Mike, they are playing this fourth quarter.
And there's a little anxiety right now as Duncan nearly throws it away. Parker brings it out. Shot clock down to 5. Parker spinning inside. Shot, puts it up, banks it in. Oh, a huge shot from Parker. LeBron James saying to Dick Bavetta, it should have been a travel. James on the drive at Duncan, banks it in, and a foul. LeBron James does it again as Duncan picks up his 4th.
Tony Parker, traveling violation, the extra step, no question about it. Got away, but stopped the bleeding for the Spurs. LeBron James on the other end, excuse me, Ginobili. Contact, Ginobili falls, no call. LeBron over Duncan. Once again, going for the three-point play.
And a timeout. LeBron James, a hard shot to the face. They've outscored the Spurs 24-6 here in the fourth quarter. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. The Cavs fans trying not to give up hope. Their team down by as many as 29 has cut it to 9 here with 4:53 remaining in the fourth. And at the watch party in Quicken Loans Arena, some of the fans have left, but some still believing and hoping their team can come back. It's been an improbable comeback. The Cavs looked dead. Their spirit looked broken. They were getting embarrassed, down by 29 in the third quarter, by as many as 27 in the fourth quarter. But they're trying to get hope as the series will shift back to Cleveland. Game 3 Tuesday, Game 4 Thursday, and Game 5, if necessary, Sunday, all three in Cleveland. As LeBron James knocks down the free throw, and it's an 8-point game. This is the closest they got in Game 1. And that was with 1:53 remaining. Another turnover. Here comes Marshall. And Gibson sets it up. Gibson, Damon Jones, Daniel Marshall, Verajao, and LeBron James. Horry is guarding James. To the basket. Inside. Won't go. Duncan the rebound. Mike Brown furious. He thought a foul should have been called. Horry, meanwhile, real good sportsmanship helping LeBron James up. Parker puts it in. Every big shot from Tony Parker.
And Daniel Marshall does the right thing, helping on Tim Duncan. But you got to get back to Tony Parker and look to contest the jump shot. You can't let him just stand there and shoot it.
30 for Parker. The Cavs don't have to just jack up threes here. Jones will try it. And way short, Parker the rebound. Too early to settle for threes, Jeff, correct?
Right, and that's where their limitations come in. Damon Jones is not a shooter off the dribble. Either is Daniel Marshall. So they are basically one-dimension offensive players compared to Ginobili.
And James is fouled by Ginobili. Only the third team foul, fourth on Ginobili. James has 8 of his 25 here in the fourth quarter.
And Mike, this is why coaches don't substitute early when the leads get high, because the game is so long, the 24-second shot clock occurs so quickly that big leads can go. And here you see LeBron James have another highly efficient second half compared to his first half.
Marshall, Gibson on the drive, gets inside and banks it in, trying to draw a foul. Boy, this 21-year-old is so impressive. The rookie from Texas, a second-round pick who had the 31-point game against the Pistons in Game 6 to clinch the Eastern Conference Championship.
You're Mike Brown. You got to find more minutes for Gibson. The way that he has played, he deserves more minutes.
Spurs will take time off the clock. Ginobili won't go. Marshall the rebound. Cavs still with some life. Pass, bad one, threw it ahead of Verajao, and a turnover, his 6th of the game.
And this fourth quarter, if they hold on and win, could be very good for San Antonio, so it keeps their attention going into Game 3.
Damon Jones is guarding Duncan. Ginobili gets hit, puts it in, and a foul! Chance for a 4-point play. Another big play from Manu Ginobili. He now has 24 as Gibson picks up his 3rd personal. And just like that, the lead back to 12 with 2:24 remaining.
You're the Cavs. There's still plenty of time left to go in this game. You have to have quality possessions on the offensive end and look to get stops.
Ginobili, meanwhile, 11 for 11 from the free throw line. James drives, gets inside, kicks it out. Gibson for three. It's good. Daniel Gibson showing no fear, and it's back to 9. He's got 9 of his 15 here in the fourth quarter.
Love this guy. He has a chip on his shoulders. He feels like he belongs. This is his stage.
Everybody has a chip on their shoulder nowadays.
No, you look at the bounce of this kid. When adversity sets in, it does not matter. Stays the same.
Duncan is doubled, takes his time. Parker, Bowen, three-pointer. Duncan, the rebound. Banks it back up and in. James pass deflected, but gets to Varejao. And Ori goes crashing and knocks down Popovich with the hustle. Quickly says, "Are you okay, coach?" The former Air Force captain gets right back up and says, "Good job, Ori."
You don't know how bad I wanted to do this when I played for Jeff Van Gundy.
And that was no flop right there. He took the hit.
James for three. Too strong in Ginobili, the rebound. And now the Cavs are running out of time. Here in the fourth quarter, they cut a 27-point deficit to 8. But the Spurs have regained control as Parker and Ginobili have hit huge shots. Parker. And Varejao hit hard by Ginobili. Just a matter of time before those two collided. They're not in the penalty hit, so the Cavs will inbound with 54.8 remaining. And Greg Popovich emptying his bench. Dano Woodrick, Jock Bowen, Francisco Elson. As Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan get a much-deserved ovation. 78 points combined as James is done for the night.
You're the Cavs. You feel good going into game 3. You made a comeback, but it wasn't against the substitutes. It was against the starting 5 that Popovich put back into the ballgame. So you have something to build on.
Ori with another block shot. 5 blocks for Robert Ori. Now, Jeff, you said earlier it's fool's gold. But by the way they came, is this a little bit extra for them?
I think it actually helps San Antonio. I think Greg Popovich is going to have Adam right here in about 5 minutes, and then he's going to have their attention going into game 3.
Ori misses. Rebound, Ira Newble. And the San Antonio Spurs will take a 2-0 lead in the finals as this series will shift to Cleveland.